What's up, Lock 22 Nation? It's your boy GOBO coming at you live with another episode of Puck University, hashtag PuckU. With me, as always, Mr. Tommy Bahama Mitchell. Tommy, what's going on?
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us again on another episode of Puck U.
All right. So speaking of, the Flyers said a big old Puck U to their GM, Mr. Fletcher. So let's talk about this, because it's pretty rare in the NHL that GMs get fired. So what does this mean for the Atlantic Division, and as an overall, like, was it deserved, and what's the next move for Philadelphia?
Well, first of all, I think it was deserved. Last season, one playoff run since 2018, and they did nothing in the trade deadline to help their chances at all going forward. So 100%, we talked about it before, management mistakes. I think that was a big one.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you mentioned only one playoff run since 2018, and it was during COVID. It was during the shortened season. So and then didn't they get knocked out by Montreal?
That sounds right.
That sounds right. Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but what kills me about Philly is they weren't tanking. None of these seasons they've been tanking and trying to establish, get draft capital, get cap space, making moves, trying to lose on purpose. None of that's been happening. They've been trying to win, and since 2018, not only have they not made the playoffs, but they haven't finished higher in than sixth place in the Metro Division. Sorry, I said Atlantic earlier, but yeah, sixth place in the Metro Division or lower every single year. So yeah, Philly's been pathetic. Absolutely deserved to be fired. So what does that mean for I know that your Penguins had a particular chant the other night, and it was wanting to follow in suit, because what is the name of your is it Hurdle or Hertzel, something like that? Because it was, the Penguins fans were cheering like fire Hertzel. So it looks like your Pennsylvania brethren maybe maybe onto something here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the nice thing about the Penguins, though, is they're turning it around. I mean,
Yeah.
they're getting healthy and they're winning again. Philadelphia is the exact opposite. They
Yeah.
are, they're just going downhill. When I'm looking at the goal differential, and they're negative 48. I mean, they don't even have a shot unless they do.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, unless they do some trades, and they didn't even attempt hardly any of them in the before the trade deadline hit.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They no, Philly, I'm not 100% sure what exactly their plan was. I don't see the Penguins GM getting fired depending on what happens in the playoffs. I see Pittsburgh's definitely a bubble team. I see them making the dance as a wild card. Will they do anything with it? I think that we'll see who they get paired up against. If they end up against Boston or Carolina, I think it could be a rough matchup. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily bad enough to fire the GM. Anyways, so up next, Boston Bruins. We talk about them on every episode. I know it's only been 3 episodes, but they're so good. They seem to be unbeatable. And we'll talk about it when we get to our top stars section. Is that I picked one guy just because he had a good game against Boston. Um, but literally, Boston, the fastest NHL team to clinch a playoff berth like ever in the history of the NHL. They're odds-on President's Trophy favorites. They're a force to be reckoned with. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I know we talk about Boston a lot.
Oh yeah, they're on pace to break the record for the most points in a season, most wins in a season. I mean, it's a historic season for them. I mean, they deserve all the credit that they're getting for sure.
Yep. So I mean, what is the and it looks and like I look at this team and I try to see like what makes them so special, what makes them so dominant, and it reminds me a lot of the Avalanche from last season. Is that they have every single line has scoring potential, and then they have a couple of certified all stars. That Pasternak having a career season. What do we got? Bergeron's getting ready to retire at the end of the year, so this is kind of his swan song. I mean, they have Lars Olmark, odds-on Venzia trophy winner, best goalie in the league. So I mean, it's just they got too much gas. So like I said, we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say the same thing. I mean, basically from top to bottom, they got good forwards. Their defense is stout, and the biggest thing, that's kind of the downfall to my team, Penguins, is their goalkeepers are lights out. I mean, we got DeSmith who's on, but then we got Yari who is averaging 3 goals a game against him.
Yeah,
You just can't have that. I mean, you got to have the depth, and they have it.
it's concerning for sure. All right, up next, going back out to the West, Minnesota Wild, number 2 in the Central right now, making a push. Definitely looks like a playoff team. They have one of the best young talents in the league with Kirill Kaprizov, but game last week against Winnipeg, what Minnesota's up 3-2, about 2 minutes left, and a defender from Winnipeg basically tackles Caprile, and he's out 2 to 4 weeks. So let's think about like looking at this play. Do you feel like that this was an egregious defensive play, or do you feel like this was just a generic hockey injury?
Oh, I think it was a little bit aggressive. I think that he shouldn't have been in there to begin with anyway. I mean, there's 2 minutes left. I
Yeah.
get that the rotation, but I mean, you got to give. They're going to go to the playoffs most likely. I mean, you got to give him some rest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get hockey's a little bit different than most sports where you can just rest them. I mean,
Right.
they're going constantly, so it's hard to say that, but I don't know if I would have had him in
You
that
know,
late.
and it's a tough break for Minnesota because they're one of those teams where it's like, yes, they have some good second, third, fourth line players. They have decent goaltending, but they stop being elite when you lose Kaprizov.
Yeah.
He is like I said, he's a generational talent. He's definitively the best player on that team. One of the best players, is a Central Division All Star. So yeah, you lose him, you potentially lose in the first round of the playoffs. So
And here's the worst thing too is I'm looking at their uh the next few weeks for games. They got Boston, they got Washington, then they got Devils, Seattle, Avalanche. They don't have any.
there's no breaks there.
There's
Yeah,
no Kate games. I mean, those are all
those are all playoff teams.
playoff teams. Yep.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, so Minnesota potentially looking for trouble, which you know what, I love it as an Avalanche fan. I don't want to like celebrate anybody getting injured, but any trials and tribulations to a division opponent like that, I think that's something I can always celebrate. Um Up next, and this is and you texted me about this because I wasn't even aware that this was happening. The Ottawa Senators are in the process of being sold right now. What do we know?
Yeah, so there's a couple different suitors looking into buying it. One of them being I don't know if anybody's familiar with soccer on here, but Wrexham United. Oh boy, his name's blanking me right now.
Oh man, man. Hang on, I'll give you a hint. Wait 1 second.
It's an actor. Dang it.
Okay. All right, I'm back.
I know it's Deadpool, but I can't think of his name. Ryan Reynolds. Yes. Okay.
Ryan Reynolds,
Reynolds.
yes.
Yes. I knew he's in the mix. He has been talking ever since he bought Wrexham United. He was talking about getting another sports franchise, and Ottawa came up for sale. The projected amount is it's they've had some estimates and stuff, and it's quoted to be over the record, which the Penguins is currently the record of $900 million. It's projected to be over that, supposedly.
I
Says
mean,
possibly could eclipse. So who knows, really? But that's kind of the estimated.
yeah, absolutely. I after you texted me, I looked it up and saw a couple of details. And yeah, Ryan Reynolds and one of the guys from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they own that Wrexham football club. And yeah, Ryan Reynolds is a huge hockey fan. He's Canadian. He's from Vancouver. But they, I didn't know this, but he actually spent a good portion amount of time living in Ottawa growing up. And so he is a Canucks fan. So, but Ottawa has a place in his heart, and so he said that yeah, they came up for sale, and he's trying to get a group of guys together and put in some money and seeing if they can come up with the $1 billion or whatever it's going to take to purchase Ottawa.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, and how is I mean, because I watched that documentary about Wrexham, and they weren't like they weren't really doing very well under Ryan Reynolds' tutelage. I don't know. So I don't know how what does this mean for Ottawa? Does this mean that they continue to be the whipping boy of the league, or does this improve them in any way? I think it's fun. I think it'll definitely help ticket sales.
Second season, welcome to Wrexham. They were actually one of the top in the
Oh
league.
wow,
Yeah, he was turning it. He was turning it around pretty good.
because they got relegated in the first season, didn't they?
Well, they're on already the lowest in the
Oh,
lowest.
they were okay.
Yeah,
Well, they had like just recently been relegated or something.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they're
Okay,
trying to
that's what it was. All right, yeah. No, we're talking about soccer entirely too much.
yes.
So Deadpool potentially owning the Ottawa Senators. I'm into it. They're definitely not moving. That is one condition of the will of the previous owner who tragically passed away this last year. Is that the team once purchased could not be moved from Ottawa. So yeah, they will remain the Ottawa Senators. Maybe they'll be the Ottawa Deadpools next year. Um, yeah, the Ottawa Waiters. Trying to think of other Ryan Reynolds movies. All right, Senators. Good news. Next up, and I hate this topic because as an Avalanche fan, the fact that Nathan MacKinnon has never won it is a tragedy amongst all tragedies in the NHL. But we're going to talk about the Hart Trophy and why, for whatever reason, it keeps going to Connor McDavid.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but that was one of the people that I have on my list for the top to win it again.
Well, and it's because you're a smart man. Because yeah, he's gonna win it again. He's having a career season. Um, I was listening to a couple of pundits online talk about it, and they're saying that like it's tough because Connor McDavid will never be considered the best hockey player in NHL history. He'll never be considered the best Oiler in NHL history because he's always chasing Gretzky.
Yeah.
And they say that on pace this year, he's going to get close to some Gretzky numbers. but he's not going to get 90 goals and he's not going to get 215 points. Like it's never going to happen. The game has changed too much.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just like you look at Gretzky's numbers and no two line passing and the goalies were just certainly not as good. I don't know. I feel like but one-on-one in their primes, Gretzky or McDavid. I mean, what do you think?
That's tough because it's a totally different style of play. I
Right.
mean, because speed, I don't know. That's too tough of a call. I
It's a hypothetical for sure.
Yeah, I mean McDavid. Honestly, I didn't get to see too much of Gretzky play, but McDavid, he's just so fast, and I think there's just different moves that they know now
Hmm.
that I think Gretzky wouldn't have never played against per se. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I That's close.
I mean, it's tough, but I also think about Gretzky. I mean, he played against. He played against Brett Hull, Bobby Orr, Mario Lemieux, great goalies like Patrick Waugh, Eddie Brodeur. Um, I mean, there was definitely superstars back then. I think I even texted you that video of that All Star Game shootout where it was just like the who's who of NHL Hall of Famers playing against each other. So I know that there's definitely more talent in the league now. The league is a lot more developed than it was back in the 80s, 90s when Gretzky played. Here's why I like Gretzky better, and it's not just because the Avalanche didn't exist when Gretzky played, but it was McDavid is an amazing player. He's fast. He can shoot. He can read a play. He can shoot from distance. He can create rebounds. Um, Wayne Gretzky was a very unselfish player. For as many goals as he always had almost double the amount of assists. He always made his teammates better, regardless of where he played, and he played for a couple of different franchises. I think that one on one, if you ask Wayne Gretzky to go in a shootout against Connor McDavid, McDavid's probably got him. But if you bring in two teams of equal talent and have Gretzky captain one, McDavid captain the other, I don't think it's even close. Gretzky's got him beat.
I would agree with that, and I would compare. I would think you're going to like this because I'm going to take one of your players off the Avalanche. Gretzky McKinnon reminds me more of Gretzky than McDavid because McKinnon is a passer. He's a
Yeah,
shooter and he's a passer. I mean, McKinnon makes everybody else on the ice better with him being out there.
that's true. That's true.
McDavid, they rely so much on McDavid. That's why he wins this trophy so much.
Mm-hmm.
They rely on the 40 to 50, 60 goals a season. You know what I mean?
Well,
McKinnon spread it around so much. They don't need
well,
it out of it.
and if you want to look at it, I mean, how many cups does Gretzky have? And then McDavid with Leon Draisaitl, who's arguably another top five talent in the NHL, and the best they've done is getting swept by the Avalanche in the Western Conference Finals. That is the best finish they've had to a season. So it's like Edmonton, they're a big whatever for me, but yeah, McDavid's gonna win the Hart Trophy again, and we're all gonna have to see his stupid face as he accepts it after being knocked out of the playoffs again. Anyways, so that's all the news we got. Team updates. Tell me about them Pens, Tommy.
Yeah, I kind of touched on it. They are definitely turning the season around a little bit towards the end of the season, which is what we need. Number one right now in wild card race in that division. Um, for me, it's like I said, it's going to come down to goalkeepers. We can't be having Yari giving up 3 goals a game. He was pulled twice this week, I believe, and Dave Smith came in and saved him. They won in overtime one game. Yeah, you just got to do something about the goalkeepers on mine. That's my worry coming into the playoffs.
Yeah, we have similar concerns for our teams. The Avalanche. I feel like we're starting to get healthier. We added a couple of good free agents at the trade deadline. Um, we're still winning the games that we need to win, but I think that in the more competitive games, we're starting to really struggle, and I think that goalkeeping is a huge part of that. Looking at this last week, we had kind of an easy week, and we played two really good games. We played one really terrible game. And yeah, we and the after the game against LA, Jared Bednar had a he had a quote that he said that the guys who need to want this and need to start wanting it more. So basically the leaders on the team need to step up, need to play their game, need to start helping, the new guys, the guys who are new to the system, and really take that veteran approach, because right now everyone's kind of flying around, it's disorganized, and the Kings, who are a good team, not a great team, they came into our barn and they knocked us around, and we really we can't let that happen, especially at this point in the season. Once we get into the postseason, like, yeah, you can't take home playoff losses and expect to win a cup. So but aside from that, yeah, we blitzed the Sharks. Yeah, we won in overtime against the Coyotes, even though we outshot them 19-0 in the third period. 19-0. Like, so just some bad puck luck, some great goaltending on Arizona's part, but we got it done in overtime. Cale Makar, he's the GOAT. Um, God bless him. But yeah, aside from that, Avalanche got a 4-game road trip this next week. Going to the East, going to Canada. Not necessarily the easiest games. Hang on, I'm looking at the schedule right now. Yeah, we got at Montreal, which should be a win. At Toronto, which could be tough. At Ottawa, which could be tough on a back-to-back, and then finishing up at Detroit. So we got 3 kind of tough games in a row. Um, we'll see how the Avs do. But yeah, we're this road trip. If they sweep this road trip, I would say we're guaranteed playoffs, guaranteed, deep run. Avs are back to form. But yeah, we'll see how we come up, how we turn up in these games.
Yeah, I
So
guess I should probably go into my schedule. So
yeah, I'm
this
looking at it. Pens.
this week we play the Rangers 3 times.
Oh
Play them
yeah,
now.
look at that.
We play them now, and then we play them again Thursday. And we play them again Saturday, and we got a Montreal in there. Right now it's tied up with the Rangers right now. That's surprising to me. Yari is in goal. That's why.
Oh, there we go.
Canadians would probably win that one. It's going to be tough at Rangers the next 2 games. Then we go and we play Ottawa. Then we got you next week. Or sorry, not next week, the week after. And then we play Dallas. So I mean, we got to win basically all those tough games. We got to beat New York. We got to beat you guys. We got to beat Dallas just to stay afloat.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough
We
being in that
lost.
that wild card spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it'll be interesting looking at the Penguins schedule here. Yeah, that is a lot of games against the Rangers. It's funny that we've only had 3 episodes of this show, but 2 of them, both our teams have been playing during the episode during
Yeah.
some games. So by the time this airs, we'll know the result. Um, but yeah, well, luckily, yeah, we don't have any big Ranger fans online. So yeah, the last time the Avs were playing when we were on, they were winning and then eventually lost in overtime to the Kraken, which I'm sure I got several texts from our producer Dames and his family members around that.
And
uh,
what worries me is the last 2 weeks we've won 1, 2, 3 games in overtime. Or no, we lost. We went to overtime and we lost one of those 3. So
okay,
every game we play against a tough team. Well, and
giving
the
up
one that
points, yeah.
the Blue Jackets, which we just got done talking about, saying they're basically not good, and we had to take it to overtime.
I
So
mean, those games happen. You can't focus on them too long. You got to kind of have a short memory. But Yeah, you definitely games like that. Yeah, you got to win them. So, all right. Uh, picks last week. I didn't catch you, but I got. You know what? I'm getting closer. You go 2-1. We both picked New Jersey over the Canadians, and we're correct. And then who else? You picked that's right. You also picked Vancouver to beat the Predators, which they did, and then you picked the Sharks to beat the St. Louis Blues, which did not happen. Which is also why I'm wearing my Sharks gear
Oh yeah.
today.
Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah, right. So Tom overall 5-1, still looking good. Pretty good selections. Not quite as good as me this last week though. I picked Colorado to beat the Sharks, which they did 6-0, which was a tremendously fun game to watch. I picked your Pittsburgh Penguins to beat the Blue Jackets, which you almost blew it. Had to take it to overtime. Yeah, what were you down 4-0 in that game? I remember I was texting you. I was just like, dude,
Yeah.
what did you do?
Yeah, that's when they switched goalies. They did it in the second, right at the beginning of the second period.
Mm-hmm.
And DeSmith was lights out. He gave up, I think, one. No, he didn't give up a
He
goal.
didn't go with anything.
Yari gave up all of them, and he came in the second
Yeah,
period and locked him out down.
the Penguins scored 5 goals in a row and won it. Yeah, and kept me alive, kept me undefeated this week. And then I also picked the Devils over Montreal. We both got that one right. No ground to be gained. But that brings my total up to 4-2, since I was terrible in week one. So we're really going to see who can break out and really open up this can of shit talking in the locks of the week for week 3. Puck University hashtag Puck U. Tom, what's your first lock?
First lock, I'm going to go with the Vegas Knights versus the Flyers, and I'm going to take Vegas over that one.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Vegas at Philly. So we kind of have talked ad nauseum about why Philadelphia sucks this year, but why do you like Vegas?
They've just playing. I mean, they've won. I think the last 4 or 5. No overtime wins, if I'm remembering correctly. They're just playing really good stretch of hockey right now.
Yep. All right. My pick. Um, and I picked a pretty contentious game. This one was a tough one, but I have Dallas at Edmonton. Dallas has been playing tremendously, but I'm saying Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, get your shit together and beat those Stars. I'm taking the Oilers.
Oh, wow.
I'm taking the Oilers in this game. I think that they get it done. I think that Dallas starts to go on a skid, get knocked out of that first place spot. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It's tough. Dallas literally scored 10 goals a couple of nights ago. They beat Buffalo 10-4. Um, so you know what? They reached their goal quota for the month. Edmonton wins it.
The month.
Yep.
After you just said you think Connor McDavid's going to win the Hart, and then you're going to pick, or no, you're picking him to win it, right?
I'm picking. Yeah. Oh yeah. Connor
Yeah.
McDavid is winning the
When you're
Hart Trophy.
talking mad crap that you hate Connor McDavid, but you're going to
I
pick him.
do. I do. I do. I hate him, and I'm picking him because he's that good.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. I'm just
He's that good, man. Yeah. And I, as much as I don't like Edmonton, I can't say that I hate Edmonton because they're not even in our division. And we swept them in the playoffs last year, so it's like they got a lot of reason to hate us. I don't have a lot of reason to hate them, but yeah, I definitely hate Dallas. So yeah, Dallas is our division leader. They're a dirty team. Not a big fan. And I think their first round exits from the playoffs, but you know what? We'll see how they play against Edmonton, a good team, and I think the Oilers got them at home. All right, give me number 2.
Yeah, my number 2, I'm going to go with a team that I haven't picked yet. I'm going to do Seattle at the Sharks, and I'm going to take Seattle to win that one.
And Tom gets it cracking against the Sharks. So the Sharks let you down last week.
Let me down last week. That's why I'm picking them against,
That's all it
them
takes.
this week.
Well, fool me once. So you're saying the Sharks, they get some tentacle this next week.
Definitely.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that pick. Seattle's got some good talent. That Jordan Eberle is really good. And then San Jose, they are definitively in the tank. Which is funny, Shark Tank. But they should win that game. But you never know. So we'll see what happens. I'll be rocking the Sharks Dome that game. All right, my next pick. I'm also picking against Philadelphia, because they're ass. I'm picking the Buffalo Sabres, in Philadelphia to get a win. Buffalo, they are fighting for first place in the Atlantic with Carolina, which is insanity. Out of nowhere, the Buffalo Sabres could be a number one seed in the playoffs. So they got a lot of firepower, a lot of good offensive production. Philadelphia, they just lost their GM. The new GM has something to prove. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. So it could be more contentious than we think, but not against a team like Buffalo. So I'm taking the Sabres.
All right. And then my last pick, we talked about it a little bit. Kaprizov's hurt. Minnesota, I'm going to take Boston over Minnesota. Boston, we've already talked about their powerhouse team, and with Minnesota, Kaprizov being hurt for Minnesota, that's just one more thing against Minnesota that they really can't. I don't think they're going to be able to hold up to Boston.
You're really going to do that to me, Tom? You're going to make me root for the Wild? Come on.
I know, and it's even bad because I'm wearing my Iowa Wild hat.
I thought I saw a Wild logo on there.
That's my AHL team because I'm from Iowa, and
that's right. I've seen the Iowa Wild. Because the Iowa Wild was captained last season by a dude named Cody McLeod, who was the Avalanche enforcer for years and years, and he was one of my favorite players. I actually have a Cody McLeod Avs jersey. He came back as the captain of the Iowa Wild, and so we went and got tickets to see the Wild play the Colorado Eagles up in Longmont, and it was kind of sad because he definitely wasn't as tough as he used to be, but it was good to see him off. But yeah, I got a lot of love for McLeod, but the Iowa Wild, yeah, it's all good. I know you're an Iowa guy. My last pick, also Vegas. Vegas and Calgary. In Vegas, Calgary's kind of on a skid right now. They've lost like 4 or 5. They definitely are not accumulating points. They're down to a wild card position in the Atlantic. Vegas, same opposite trend. They're going up. They just picked up Jonathan Quick, who's on the sunset of his career. He always played well against Calgary. And so as much as I don't like it, I would much rather Calgary win this game, but I say Vegas takes them. So we got them. And interesting enough, Tom picked 3 road teams.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize
it. Yeah. Vegas at Philly, Seattle at San Jose, Boston at Minnesota. Picked all the roadies.
Was Knights versus the Flyers, is that a home game or is that away?
I think it's in Philly.
Okay.
So we'll see. Hopefully the jet lag will get to the Knights a little bit.
All right.
All right. So that basically concludes our show. We have one more segment left. We were talking about top plays of the week. Because of copyright issues, not being able to show the plays, we decided to go in a little bit different direction. So instead of top plays, we're going to talk about top players of the week. So, who did you like their individual performances this last week, Tom?
Yeah, so I'm actually the way I have it written down, I'm probably gonna flip it around because I have DeSmith for me. It's a Penguin. His week was, in my opinion, like I said, covering for Yari, going to that overtime, winning it. Switching second period, winning the game. Then he did it again later in the week. Was lights out. Penguins won that game as well. My third star is going to be DeSmith, goalie for the Penguins. Second, I have McDavid. Last 5 games, he's got 1 goal, 2 assists. He's just accumulating points left and right, and they're winning because of it. So, and then my first star, Dmitry Orlov. Last 5 games, 3 goals, 5 assists, just dominating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eight points in 5 games. Yeah, I had Orlov on my list as well. And that's crazy. We knew it was going to happen too. When we talked, was the first thing we talked about was the Orlov trade. That was like one of the first things we talked about in this show and how much impact that was going to have.
Yep.
And yeah, he's a beast. He's an absolute beast.
So who were your picks?
My picks. Well, it's funny. I went from less of a statistical perspective and more from like an individual. Like I thought these players just kicked ass on these nights, and they made me feel good about hockey. So this is my first pick, and I only picked 2. I didn't pick 3. Was Larkin for the Red Wings, who had a 3-point night and helped the Red Wings break that incredible Boston streak. So basically, if you have a good game against the Boston Bruins, you're gonna end up on my list. That's, I could just put it down right now. Larkin, he got a killer. He had 2 goals, 1 assist in the game. One of them was kind of the backbreaker. It was a power play goal, and yeah, he's just superstar player. Had a superstar night against an amazing team. My second one, and this was a feel good story for me. The St. Louis Blues basically out of star power, but they have 1 good player left, guy named Jordan Kyrou, and he had a hat trick against the San Jose Sharks, which led to Tom's first loss in his Puck University picking career. So, Jordan Kyrou, he's not just a kid who's 4 and each day he grows some more, but he does like exploring that goal. He's Kyrou. All right. Anybody who got that reference, I applaud you. You probably have children. Anyways, so that's all we got. That's Puck University. Hashtag Puck U. Hockey, it's happening right now. You can see it. It's on your television. It's in the world around you. It's very cold. It's very fast. We hope you enjoy it. Tom, any last words for the folks?
Yeah, it's a fun time to watch hockey. Playoff. It's the end of the playoff push is coming up. You guys are going to watch some fantastic hockey. Get out there and we'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching. Puck U.
All right, Puck U, everybody.